Come on, guys. ChaseWins.com coming to you for Sunday, October the 25th, 2020. We are just right at a month from the start of college basketball, which I could not be more excited for. That'll get us back into our day to day rhythm of having action every single day. At that time, you'll have college basketball, you'll have college football, and you'll have the NFL. So you know it's going to be jam packed Thursday through Sunday, as it always is. And then those few days, in between that Monday through Wednesday, will be chock full of plenty of non-conference basketball, and usually even your Wednesday night blockbusters involving the ACC or the Big Ten or the Pac-12, stuff like that for college basketball. So what you can do now is usually my college basketball season is well, in recent years, it's been $2,000. Last year, we actually made the decision to drop it to $1,500 for the season, and then for it was $2,000. You could get NBA and college basketball combo pass. We're not going to do anything on NBA just yet. We're going to wait just because I want to hear the official start date of NBA. Originally, they were talking about it being February, but what the NBA was trying to avoid is, as much as the NBA wants to have a play during the summer because they know that the only competition they would have for viewership, and even in some cities where what games people would pay their money to attend would be Major League Baseball. And as we all know, up until this year, Major League Baseball would always typically lose out to the NBA. But after all of the garbage that the NBA spewed out this year with all the social justice, Black Lives Matter on the court, and just really going too far and letting people like LeBron James have no filter and just spew complete nonsense, just day in and day out. They lost, I think the numbers that I was reading when I was reading some financial reports for the NBA, this isn't what teams lost. I still don't know what every team lost because I'm sure it'll be different. But the NBA lost about $1.3 billion dollars. And what was crazy is their TV contracts for the bubble were actually pretty substantial, about 35% higher than what the projection would have been. And for most teams, their TV contracts for the bubble were higher than what their late season TV contracts would have been had the season gone on like normal. So the fact that they lost over $1 billion from the time they returned to that, and then having less than 25% viewership on the NBA Finals, and having a player like LeBron James be involved, it just shows you what they did. People don't like. And, Adam Silver has already made his announcement. Oh, it's not going to be like that next year. Listen, I'm all for the social justice. I'm all for being for change when change needs to happen. I'm all for letting your players speak their mind. But there comes a time where the shit's got to get toned down a little bit. You can't go out there and say the crap like LeBron James did and expect people to support you. I just, but hey, what do I know? But anyway, we're going to wait on that because now the agents got together. The new proposal was for it to start in December, for there to be Christmas Day games, and I think that would be a lot better. Some teams aren't going to like it because they're not going to have as much of a break. But listen, you got a 3-month break or 4-month break, whatever it was, in the middle of the season before the playoffs. So, quit your whining. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully that will start in December. It looks like the NHL is not going to start until the first of the year. But then that'll be it. Hopefully MLB will start just as it normally would, because right now MLB is still on track to finish around the time it always does. So let's get into but college basketball right now. This year we are going to do the price instead of 1,500, just because of the way this year has gone. We are going to discount it just a little bit, and the entire season is going to be $1,000. Every single premium and daily top play in college basketball from day one tip off all the way through March Madness will be $999. But right now you can get it, and we're going to do this for a few days until we put it back up to normal price. But being that we're right at about 30 days out, you can go ahead and get the entire season for half price, $500. That is on the website right now, so get it before it goes to what this year's normal price will be. And as far as any other announcements, we do have an NFL game of the month on Sunday. I'm not going to say what game it's in. I'm not going to say what time it's on. But I'll say this. At the 1 o'clock start times for those games, you will not be able to purchase the game anymore. So it may be a 1 o'clock game. May not be. Not going to say that. But you need to get it before the 1 p.m. kickoffs if you want to get involved. Obviously, it's win or get 7 days of all plays, premium and daily top plays, all for free as any game of the month is. So let's get on a couple-day recap since I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Friday night, ended up having a great night. We ended up having... 1 second. Let me just get all my notes here for what we've got because we're going to do a few free plays in the NFL. So we ended up having 5 plays in total on Friday, and we ended up going 4-1. So we had Tulsa minus the 11 points. That was a fairly easy win there. Wisconsin, we took over the 51 points. Easy win there. That one got a little squirrely there in the third, but ended up coming through. The FIU game, we took under 58 points. That one was never in question. Easy win there. And we had the LA Dodgers on the money line minus 140. Easy win there. The only game that we lost was the UAB game. We took over 50 points. That one did not cash. Really never got too close, to be honest with you. So that was a poor pick, but a big Friday going 4-1. And if you watched my free play videos this week, every free play that I gave out other than Monday for Monday Night Football, I gave out an underdog pick for this weekend's game starting Friday. Friday, we gave out UL Lafayette as an underdog, taking the points, but I said they would win outright. They should have been favored in that game over UAB. A nice winner there. They won outright as we said they would. So if you followed that, you got an additional win for Friday, and you would have gone 5-1. So a good Friday. Jumping into Saturday, another big day of football, and we've got one game still ongoing. It doesn't have too much time left, but we've got play SMU versus Cincinnati. This game, we actually had 2 plays in it because we gave out 2 underdog free plays earlier in the week for Saturday. We took Cincinnati plus 3 points. Right now, they are winning by 2 touchdowns to versus SMU. So with the time left, I find it very difficult that SMU will be able to come back and actually win this game. Actually, they're up more than 2 touchdowns. And they were catching 3. So that looks like that'll be a win. We do have a play in the total. We won't know on that until the game is actually over. The other free play that we gave out was Georgia State as a live dog. They also ended up winning outright. So if you followed those free plays and you did what I said to do, you would have gotten 3 underdog picks for this weekend's college football action, and it was a 3-0 clean sweep. So congrats to everyone that followed that. On the rest of the college football games, we had Auburn versus Ole Miss under 73.5 points. Nice easy win there. Never, ever in doubt. Never even came close to hitting that total. We had Oklahoma versus TCU over 58.5 points. We did drop that game, so that one was the only one that we dropped in the noon games. We had Ohio State versus Nebraska. We took Ohio State minus 27. Never in doubt. As I told you going into this season, last year, Ohio State was who I said after week 1, they were the best team in college football. I truly believe they were the best. They were all the way up until the end. They were the best all-around team in college football. I truly think they were a better all-around team than LSU. They got shafted on the game against Clemson. That was their game. They won it. The refs completely screwed them, and else it would have been LSU versus Ohio State, which is what it should have been for the national championship. Obviously, this year, if I had to say right now who the best team in college football is, I'm going to have to say Clemson right now. And that's the first time ever since they've been in this little era of dominance that they're in that I would truly say they are the best team. Give me 2 more weeks of watching Ohio State play top-level competition, and I may not say that. The only other team I think is really right there with them would be Ohio State. Can't make that call after one game when Clemson's had, a half a season sample size. So we'll see. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State is the best team in college football this year. So we took them minus the 27. Easy win. Again, never in doubt. And then we had Clemson versus Syracuse over 63 points. That game, that total could have been blown through by halftime, honestly, if Clemson wouldn't have made just a couple of poor decisions in trying to use Trevor Lawrence as a running machine instead of a throwing one. But either way, that game was it blew through the 63-point total, so another win there. So we went a total of 3-1 in the early games, in the 12 o'clock games. Then we have one 3:30 game, which was Notre Dame versus Pittsburgh, over 43 points. Notre Dame scored 45, so they hit the total by themselves, another easy win. And then, like I said, we have one game, the 9 p.m. game. We had the total in the Cincinnati SMU game. That one is still ongoing. And then we had a big top play today. And this one, I'll be honest with you, I have never, in 30 years of watching baseball and studying this game inside and out, seen what I saw tonight. We had the Dodgers. And I'm not mad that I made that pick. It was the right call. Anybody that will send me an email or comment and say that I'm an idiot for taking them because they lost the game, you didn't watch the game. And in my write-up for this game, I even clearly stated that the Tampa Bay Rays cannot and will not win this game on their own merits alone. They just don't have it. They're putting in Yarborough as what would typically be a spot starter in most situations. If they want to have any hope of having any bullpen left to back Glasnow up, they would have to stretch him more than an inning or two. So that, with Julio going in for the Dodgers, who has been just an absolute stud this year, especially in the postseason, and in his last start, what did he give up? 1 run? If that. No, he didn't give up a single run. And Yarborough going out there and giving up, 3 runs over 5 innings, or just short of 5 innings, something like that. And the Dodgers bullpen being in a much better position than the Rays. Plus, they knew they could have 3 bullpen lefties coming up in a row, which the Rays are not known to hit very well. The Dodgers were controlling this game all game long. The only reason the Rays scored at all was just a few poor pitching decisions by the Dodgers. And I'm not saying poor pitching as in a ball gets away from you. That happens to everybody during every game. I'm saying the Dodgers taking their dominance for granted in this game and saying, oh, we'll just toss it right down the middle. Quick outs, let's go, let's conserve energy, conserve pitches, and try to extend this bullpen out a little bit farther just in case Clayton couldn't go as long tomorrow in Game 5. And each time they did that, it resulted in a home run. Had they not done that and pitched the way they would have normally, I don't think the Rays would have scored during this game. But they did it. The Rays took the lead one time. It was in the 6th inning, I believe. The Dodgers, the next inning, come back, tied it up immediately. Then they took the lead immediately. Then, it was a tie game again. Then they went up 7-6. There was 2 outs. There was 2 on, but it was a 1-2 count. They were 1 strike away from this game being over, and they would have won it. And they give up a hit, little small floater that dropped into the shallow outfield. Mookie Betts is there to get it. So we knew that as soon as he hit the ball, Mookie wasn't going to be able to get that ball. There was going to be a tie game. All Mookie had to do was get it and make the throw. If he got it and the throw was made, no way another run's going to score, and the Dodgers could still force this thing into extra innings. Not only did Mookie commit an error by trying to look at what was going on at third and home plate, which is understandable. I'll give him that error. But then to throw it in, stop the runner coming from third. He literally halted in his tracks and turned around and started running until the catcher also dropped the ball and let it go God knows where, for them to be able to turn back around, basically fall down, stand up, and then still cross home plate to win the game 8-7 off of 2 errors in 1 play involving 2 players. I've never seen anything like that in any game, let alone a World Series game with the team committing the errors that's the best team in baseball. I said specifically in my write-up, the Tampa Bay Rays cannot and will not win this game with their own merits alone, and they didn't. I said specifically, it will take some poor fielding and errors. They didn't commit an error the entire game. They commit an error on that one. Mookie Betts was charged with the error. They should have charged the catcher with an error too. They didn't. But that right there cost them a game that they had dominated all but 2/3 of an inning the entire game. It was the most disgusting loss I've ever taken in my life. Would I make that play again? Yes, a million times over. It was the right play. Anybody that has the nuts to sit there and talk shit over that loss didn't watch the game and has no clue what they're talking about. So send all you want. It'll be deleted and not even responded to. But to say that that was the biggest kick in the nuts I've ever taken on a loss, just because of the way it happened, was unfreaking believable. I still can't get over the fact that it happened. I really can't. But we dropped that play. Doesn't matter. We'll make it back up tomorrow, and we will have a play in the game 5 tomorrow. Not sure exactly what it'll be yet. I'm gonna look at what I'm gonna work on pretty heavily tonight and try to get that pick out tonight because I'm sure that line will be all over the place come tomorrow, just based on the fact that the series is tied back up now, so on and so forth. So, but 4-1 in college football so far today. Like I said, one game still ongoing. So the past 2 days have been great in college football, and now we're going to turn it over to the NFL. NFL card is all but almost done. The majority of it will be out tonight before I go to bed. Game of the month is up as well. Win or get 7 days for free. And let's get on a couple of free plays. I'm going to give you my official free play, and then I'm going to give you 2 leans that I want you to think about. One is a game that it'll be your decision whether you play it or not. I just want to make a couple of points as to why I like it and then also don't like it, where the smart money would go, but why I would lay off if you had any reservations about it. So your official free play, and this is what I'm going to give you actually what I took here just a few minutes ago, was the Steelers +2. I'm seeing a couple of 1.5s out there, but William Hill as well as Bovada, and as well as the Westgate, all had Steelers +2. So Steelers +2 is what I bet. I think that the Steelers are more than a live dog here. I think that the Steelers are the better team. I think that the Titans having the record that they do, even though I think they are a good team, I think is just a little bit smoke and mirrors. I don't think that they're a great team. I didn't think they were a great team last year. Truth be told, they weren't a playoff team last year. The stars aligned for them to get where they were, and they played one great game. And after that, they got shown the door. This year, I think that who they've played has helped. I think they have played some good games, and I think they've shown that they're going to be a thorn in people's side this year. I don't see them as a playoff caliber team this year. They may make wild card. They may get there because of how many teams this year have just gone from good to horrible. But they're not that great of a team. The Steelers, I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, but the Steelers are a great team. And the Steelers have proven to probably be the team that is playing as a team better than anybody in football. If you really want to think about what has gone on this entire season, and you ask me, Chase, who has played the best team football on both sides of the ball this year? My pick would be the Steelers. The teams that would come close to that after that, you got to throw the Chiefs in the mix, but they've also had a loss, and they've also had another really poor game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, have done it as well. But again, they've taken a loss, and Brady's had a couple of games where he just wasn't fully himself, but they've played incredible defense. They've gotten to the quarterback better than just about any other defense, and Tom Brady is who he always has been, a machine. And then other than that, I'd say the Green Bay Packers have played really well. Green Bay Packers' problem is their defense is suspect at times. But with the way the Steelers are playing, with what's on the line with these two teams, and you really have to go with, it's not about momentum, because both of the teams have it. It's not about what's on the line, because it's the same for both teams. It's not about looking ahead 3 weeks, because the schedules are completely different, and the caliber of teams both these teams are playing are completely different. You have to just look at who is the better team, who's better coached, and who's going to go out there and execute their position better for 4 full quarters. I think this could be a tight game that could be one of those go either way type of situations for 3 quarters, maybe 3.5. But there's going to be a half a quarter or a full quarter where one team defensively shuts the other one out, and offensively is clicking on all cylinders. It could come at the beginning of the game, it could come at the end. Or if that's not the way this game goes, then you're going to see what would be the most unexpected blowout of the season. I just don't see a world where the Steelers are going to play poorly enough to let the Titans get, out of reach of them. I could see the Titans going out there and creating a little separation because we know Mike V, obviously with a good defense that he has, is not scared to call some big-time plays when you least expect it to put points on the board. But Mike Tomlin has proved over his entire career that he'll do that probably more so than anyone. Maybe second to Pete Carroll, but even if he does that and creates a little separation, Big Ben and his crew are not a team that you can count out at any time. You could be down by 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes left, and they'd be the team that come back and beat you by a touchdown. The Steelers are the better team here. The Steelers have the better head coach. The Steelers have a lot more experience playing as a team, and I think the Steelers are going farther. And the Steelers know that if they can win this game, they may have a chance to really separate themselves as quote-unquote the best team in the NFL for a few weeks to come. I think right now they're just playing too well to ignore. I think they're the better team. I think that if they don't cover the spread, they lose by over a touchdown. I don't think this game can be decided by this. So I think, truth be told, I think that the Steelers win outright or get beat by a touchdown or more. But right now, being that it is 2 points and the money line's really only giving us dead even, I don't see a lot of value there. So I'll take the 2 points and put them in my back pocket. The Steelers +2 is your official free play. The 2 leans I want you to look at, one other one's another live dog. You're only catching 1.5. So on this one, I mean, obviously last week we took them +2, and it worked out because they got beat by a single point. But I think the Washington football team is another live dog this week. Even though I don't think Andy Dalton is as horrible as people make him out to be, I think the firing of Jason Garrett was the wrong call. I think that Dak Prescott was never as good as anybody's ever thought he was. And I think that Dallas is probably just the most pathetic team of talented people that I've ever seen. They're going to score points. We know that. But I don't see a world with the way they're playing right now where they keep Washington out of the 20-point range. And Washington's defense, even though it isn't great, truth be told, has played better than Dallas's. And not to mention, you look at Dallas, who has been injury-riddled from day one of the season, and it keeps getting worse week in and week out. Even though Washington doesn't have much to be happy about, one thing is for sure, they've stayed relatively healthy. Not much can be said for many other teams in this league other than teams that are having a lot of success. Look at who Washington has gotten beat by this year. Not everybody's a pushover. And even the teams that it looks like they've gotten beat really badly by, they've been closer in that game than you think. And Ron Rivera is a top-notch coach, for sure. And he's got top-notch coaches under him. So even though this is a game I don't like it as much as the Steelers game, I sprinkled some fun money on this one, but I took it at Washington +120 on the money line. I don't understand why they're catching 120 and the Steelers wouldn't be, but I think that just goes to show you the volatility of the market, and the odds makers aren't that stupid to go out there and I think right now they're trying to get people to take Washington because they think it's Dallas versus Washington. This will be easy money line, lay $1.35, $1.40. But Washington is a live dog. If Washington won this game, this would be one of the least surprising things of Sunday for me. So as a fun money, I sprinkled a little bit on Washington +120 on the money line, or you can take the 1.5. If you're not getting over a point, there's not a lot of value there. And then the other one that I sprinkled a little bit of fun money on was the Kansas City Chiefs because it dropped from 7.5 to 7. I bought it down to 6.5 and sprinkled just a little bit on it. Is Kansas City the better team? Yes. Heads and tails by a mile. Problem is, they're on a short week, and they're playing at the highest elevation in all of the league in Denver, and it's going to be colder weather. They're talking about snow. Now, the snow doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me because Patrick Mahomes has proven he can play in it. The way he plays, he could probably play in the middle of a tsunami and still be successful. In any world, this would be a game where Kansas City should blow the absolute doors off of Denver. Not to mention, look what Denver did last week, having what, 6 field goal attempts? Well, you talk about cold weather and snow. Doesn't matter how used to that Denver is. A kicker is not the guy you want to rely on getting points with in that type of weather. So that if that happens again with a decent Kansas City defense, what's going to happen? It's going to be even more difficult for Denver. Puts them at an even bigger disadvantage. But I'm telling you this line should have opened up where I've got it at 11.5, even with being away and being at the high elevation. Drop it down. I dropped it all the way down to 9 because of elevation and because of the fact that they're on short rest. And the odds makers opened it some 7, some 7.5, but most of the board opened up at 7. It jumped to 7.5 pretty quickly, and it's just now come back here in the last few hours. That line scares me. It shows that even the odds makers know that this isn't a lock by any means, but there's no way that I'm not going to sprinkle some money on Kansas City because they are a 3-touchdown better team than Denver in any other situation but this one. And even in this situation, I think they're an 11-point better team. We'll say a 9-point better team based on the short week. But because of all those things, I cannot lay a premium play on it. I can't. Not even at 6.5. Truth be told, not even at 6. I would have to get below. I would have to get to 4 points or below in this situation with everything to lay that. So if the line goes back up, maybe you can get them on a teaser or something like that. Kansas City holds a lot of value. A lot. You get them at 7, maybe take them down to a pick 'em teaser. A lot of value there. A lot of value. But right now, it's no more valuable than a lean just based on circumstantial stuff alone. So for that reason, there's 2 little fun money leans for you. And your official free play, which is on the card, is Pittsburgh plus the 2 points. And the rest of the card will be posted shortly. And again, we have our NFL game of the month. Win or get 7 days of all plays for free. NASCAR is coming this afternoon. Texas, 500-mile race. Big race this Sunday. A lot of stuff on the line. Do not want to miss out on that. We're going to do it for $25 for the entire race. So don't miss out. That's the cheapest Patrick has ever done a race card before. So make sure you're on that. You can get the remainder of the race season for $50 flat. So make sure you get on that because I think you'll get 3 races for that or 4 races, whichever's left. And so we got that. And then make sure you jump on the college football or college basketball early bird special, half price, $500. I love you guys. I'll see you back for Monday. A big week ahead. We got a big announcement, a new introduction of someone. Can't wait for you to get to know. The new features are getting rolled out this week, and there will be a ton of action carrying on all into next weekend. I love you guys. I'll see you back for Monday. Good luck.